I didn't have a chance to look at my emails again until.
All right, so we're gonna get started. Have a good night, folks. Thank you.
Thank you.
I didn't have a chance to look at my emails again until after I got off my shift at 4. And there's an email saying, arrived. And the next thing was, wrong weekend.
I know, I heard. Ladies and germs, hey, look who's here. We're passing around we're passing around a sheet of paper. Put your name and your email on it, please. I want you to look around.
He didn't come to the first. No, I didn't.
I want you look around and join us. There are other people. By the way, this session is being recorded, so I want you to be aware I've got the recording going, and you all.
I better be careful.
It is being recorded so that we can show this to people that couldn't come tonight. There were some folks who said. Grandpas. Two grandpas here tonight. Two grandpas. There's a couple of people, or several people who said they could not. With the baby. Several people who said they could not join us tonight because unfortunately I had to move the date, and I apologize for that. You know, I had a little issue with health, and I'm fine. Obviously, I'm here, so that's a good thing, right? And it's better that it happens here. It's better that it happens here than when I'm in Israel.
Yes, because I really don't like spending my time in hospitals and clinics.
Well, I'm going to explain
fun.
that. I'm going to explain that. Some of the people that are here know that already.
Lisa, you were so good at that, Lisa. You were so good, though.
So, without further ado, because I don't want us here all night because I didn't bring any food, and I'm sorry about that. I just realized I should have brought some really.
Anyway.
Huh?
She couldn't eat anything.
She couldn't, right? We could have. For those of you that are here, as I said, there are probably 6 to 8 more people that are interested in the trip. We have a specific number that Lisa will talk to you about, I guess, and whatnot, what we need to do. I think we're going to be there. I think we're okay. It depends on how many of you choose to go. If you don't choose to go, then that'll change. But one of the things about our trips is that I've taken 8 trips now with Lisa, about 8.
Yeah, I think so. Something like that.
And everyone gets better. Every trip gets better. I think this has probably the best chance of being the best trip we've ever taken because we're actually going a little bit higher end. We're putting some things into this trip that we've never done, or at least I've never done before with Lisa. I know you have. But I think one of the things that the people who came with us last time will agree to is that while Lisa is a really nice lady and she's wonderful and very knowledgeable, she's also, I would never go to Israel without her. Because last year we had a situation. Well, no, we had a few situations. Just to give you an example, we had someone unfortunately break her foot. And I don't want to name names, but you all know who it is.
Yes.
And she took her to the hospital. And while the rest of us continued with our trip, we had another person get hurt. She took her to the hospital. So at the end of the trip, El Al decided to change our flights.
Oh, God.
That was the worst.
So Lisa rebooked us while we were all still touring, and she got us money back. So we bring her with us because things happen. And when things happen, you have to have someone with you who really knows what's going on. And Lisa's been going to Eretz Yisrael now for many, many years. She's been taking trips there and bringing people there for many, many years. She's teaming up with some new people this year that I think we're really excited about. And without further ado,
it's new people for you, but I've worked with them quite a few times before.
So it's new with me, and so you know better because you know that they're going to do a better job. Without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Lisa. Lisa lives in Long Island. By the way, Chodesh Tov.
Actually Queens, but
Queens.
that's okay. Queens is Long Island, actually, but you know.
My father was born in Queens. Flushing. Anyway, I want Lisa to take over. She's amazing. She's wonderful. And Lisa, good to see you. Good to see you.
Good to see you guys too. Welcome to everybody. Hello again to the people who I know who were on the trip, and welcome to the new people who I'm meeting now, and looking forward to having you with us because we really do have a great time. It's educational, it's fun, it's interesting. I can give you a whole bunch of superlatives and words about it, but you will see. I think everybody has a copy of the itinerary. So basically, we actually had to add an extra day of touring. I know that breaks all your hearts, but because El Al decided to do flight schedule changes, which changed the time of the flight. So instead of the flight returning on at midnight or just after midnight, they schedule changed it to now leave Israel at 9 o'clock in the morning. So we actually, and also the flight going, they made earlier in the day. So we get into Israel at about 8 o'clock in the morning. So we actually have a full day there as well. So we'll start with arrival. Obviously, Rabbi will arrange, as he did last year, the transportation to the airport. I think that worked out really well for those who needed to take it, because it just made things a lot simpler and you were able to have a group check-in. You arrive in Israel at about 8:15 in the morning. Now, I know it's an overnight flight. It's not that bad if you can, get some sleep on the flight. But as soon as you get to Israel, something happens. It's like you hit the ground and you just want to go running. It's just so exciting. And because the hotels are not ready for check-in until, 3 o'clock usually, but we usually get in a little bit earlier, we have to do something. And I didn't want to just say, okay, let's go take a walk. So we're going to go on arrival after you get out of passport control and all that, and we help you with that. We're going to take a ride to Modi'in. Modi'in is fairly close to the airport. If any of you know ancient Israel history, it's the area where the Maccabees were and Hanukkah and all that, and there's an ancient synagogue there. So there's also a very modern day mall, and so we'll be able to go to the mall and there's always a food court in every mall in Israel, so we'll be able to get something to eat, use the public bathrooms to refresh a little bit, and then go see this ancient synagogue. And then probably on the way back to Tel Aviv, we'll possibly make one more stop, depending on the time. And then we'll be able to check into the hotel, hopefully a little bit early. You can then take a rest, take a nap. I'll have suggestions for those who want to walk on the boardwalk. It's beautiful. The hotels we use are right on the boardwalk. So I think, everybody will be happy, so we can take a rest, and then we'll have a welcome dinner that evening at the hotel, so that if people are tired, we're not going out, and we can, eat dinner, have an orientation, and then start fresh the next morning. So we're going to do the next day, Tuesday, we're going to be in Tel Aviv all day. We're going to go to David Ben-Gurion's home. We're going to go to Bialik Street. You're going to hear about these famous streets. Do also like an architectural tour. Tel Aviv is known as the White City because of all its Bauhaus buildings. And if anybody knows about the architecture and the Bauhaus movement, if you don't, you'll learn about it. And then we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to see a little bit of an underground art scene. We have scheduled in a graffiti tour, which is really interesting. So we'll, a little bit of the underground art scene. Then we'll have some time to relax. It's not going to be a full day because it's your first day and we don't want to totally exhaust you the first day. But it's also a Tuesday, so there'll be an opportunity, things that aren't always on the itinerary. For the people who've been, know that on Tuesdays and Fridays only, Nahalat Binyamin, which is a fabulous street fair, arts fair, crafts fair. It becomes this, the name of the street is Nahalat Binyamin, and it becomes a pedestrian mall with all these artisans and everything. So there'll be an opportunity to go there, to go to the beach, and just relax in the afternoon. Then you're going to get a good night's sleep because the next day we're heading south. We're going to go down to through the Negev Desert on our way to Eilat, and we're going to stop at something very unique. It's called a lone farm. And what that is, and there's an explanation in the itinerary, we're going to meet a farmer who is, without the help of the government or without the help of others, he has a farm. And then we're going to visit a desert winery. Always good to sample some of the wines. I know last year we went to this great winery. It was a really small boutique winery up north, and it was really interesting. Family owned. It was fabulous. We'll stop at Sde Boker, which is where David Ben-Gurion is buried, and that was his kibbutz. We'll stop at the Mitzpeh Ramon Visitor Center. Mitzpeh Ramon is the crater that's there. It's kind of like, it's not really, but it's like what they call Israel's answer to the, like the Grand Canyon kind of thing. But it's certainly not as big, but it's quite beautiful. The different colors of the sand. And we'll stop at the visitor center there and then head down to Eilat. The next day in Eilat, the decisions will have to be made ahead of time, but everyone will have the choice of either having a day in Eilat just to relax, maybe go to the aquarium, see things, or go to Petra for the day. Petra is amazing. I've been there. It's incredible. It's one of the what they call one of the wonders of the world. It's a full day trip into Jordan for the day, but that's the only way to get to Petra. So everyone will have to make a decision beforehand if they want to do Petra. That is on the pricing as an extra cost. If people want to go to Petra, which is why we will have a deadline when we need to know in advance who's signing up for Petra. I don't have to read the descriptions, you can read it. And then we'll overnight in Eilat again and then head to Jerusalem the next day on Friday. So we're going to stop at the High Bar Nature Reserve on the way to Jerusalem. Really interesting natural animal park. And then we'll get into Jerusalem early enough to be able to probably do like a little grocery run so we can pick up snacks and extras and things maybe for Shabbat. And in the evening, we'll, whoever would like to, we'll walk to the Kotel for Friday night services. And we can welcome Shabbat at the Western Wall. And then, of course, Shabbat dinner at the hotel. The Shabbat day is pretty loose. We don't have, there's pretty much voluntary who would like to go to services. We recommend Moreshet Israel, which is the conservative synagogue in the center of Jerusalem. It's only 2 blocks from the hotel. But if people would like to experience other synagogues, we can always arrange it. I know where they are, and we can do that. but we will have lunch together at the building that Moreshet Israel is in, which is the Fuchsberg Center, which is the conservative movement headquarters. There's also a youth hostel there. We had Shabbat dinner there last time. It worked out. It really works out well. And we also, there are other groups there, so you never know who you're going to meet. Last year, I bumped into people that I knew who were in another group, and some other people did as well. Then we will have, a lot of rest. Whoever wants to in the afternoon, I can take you on a little walking tour like I did last year. We'll have Havdalah together at the end of Shabbat, and then we're going to go to there's this incredible sound and light show in the Old City that is actually, it's the most interesting thing. They do it literally playing on the walls of the Old City. It's fabulous. So we have that. Okay, then Sunday, we have some other unusual things that we haven't done. We're going to have a political correspondent talking to us about the political situation, the political landscape in Israel today. And then we will go to Yad L'Kashish, which is one of my favorite places in all of Jerusalem. Yad L'Kashish means lifeline for the aged. I know the people who went last year can attest to the fact that it's an amazing place. They have workshops that the seniors, and they're all immigrants, and you would, in the gift shop, they have everything that they're making. You would swear that these items were made by professional artisans. It's just fabulous. Everybody always asks me, why can't we have programs like that here in the States with seniors? It's just an incredible project. Then we're going to go to the Old City in the Jewish Quarter. Of course, we'll go to the Kotel. We'll go to the Burnt House, the Horva Synagogue, and we'll have dinner that evening. We'll have a little bit of break in the afternoon, late afternoon. We'll have dinner at a restaurant yet to be determined. But there are so many good restaurants in Jerusalem, it's really hard to choose. But we'll find something special. And then we're going to do an off the beaten track evening walking tour of Jerusalem. So you're getting a little bit different perspective, doing some things that are really off the beaten track that most people on their first visit don't get to do. Then on Monday, we're going to do, because we don't want to leave out certain things. We don't want to leave out anything, but there's a limit to what you can do. And I know that, Rabbi, we have this connection with the Ha'emek Medical Center in Afula, because I know that the rabbi will be doing some fundraising for various charities, and that's one of them. So we do want to visit them and see what it's all about there. It's really an incredible place because of where they're located. And they treat everyone there. It's not only Israelis, it's not only Jews, it's Jews, Arabs, Christians. In Israel, the hospitals treat everyone. There is absolutely no discrimination. You have Arab doctors, Jewish doctors, it doesn't matter. It's an amazing thing in the medical field, how they all cooperate together and give a very, very high standard of care as well. So we're going to go there. We'll stop and see Beit Sharim, which was the seat of the Sanhedrin, which was the court, the high court in biblical days. And after, the Ha'emek Medical Center, as I said, and then Tefin Industrial Park. which is really an unusual museum and sculpture garden there. And then, of course, to Pekin, which is a Druze village. And the Druze are very interesting people. I think we learned about them last time, and they're unique Israelis. So we're going to visit a Druze village and see a synagogue there. We'll also have dinner at a restaurant in that area before we come back to Jerusalem. Then the next day, Tuesday the 9th, we'll again be in Jerusalem for the day. And we're going to have a briefing with an IDF officer, getting, the political situation, getting the army understanding of what goes on. And then there's a really fun activity. And some people may say, oh, this is for kids. This is not for adults. Well, it's a scavenger hunt, but it's not a scavenger hunt like you think of, looking for items. What you're doing is you're getting workbooks. You're going to learn about the history of the neighborhood. You're going to learn different symbols. I have done this with family groups very often. And it's the adults, the grandparents, that tell me that they had the best time. They had a better time than the kids doing these scavenger hunts. And then hopefully, if all is well and we have security clearance, we'll be able to go to an army base with our friend Joan Kedem, who is an amazing woman who runs a lone soldier project. And I know last year, because of security, we couldn't actually go onto the army base. This all depends on what's happening at the time. But we did meet some soldiers, and we did get an overview and go to some places around. And the lone soldier in Israel, does everybody know what a lone soldier is? No, okay. It's something unique to the Israeli army. What a lone soldier is someone who moves to Israel, makes Aliyah, or just wants to go into the army, and they don't have any family in Israel. They come without any family support. It's really tough. I know when, like, our kids go to college, for example. We're busy, they come home, we're taking care of the bills for the most part. We're taking care of them. When they come home on vacation, they dump their stuff and they, mom, dad, do the laundry for me. And they go out and either sleep or go out with their friends. Well, when these kids go into the army, they don't have any support. So they don't earn a lot of money in the army. It's a very basic army salary. They need a lot of help. If they have problems, there is a division in the army that does help the lone soldiers, but it's not enough. For example, they generally live, if they have an apartment, there are 3 or 4 soldiers that share an apartment. When they come home on leave, they don't have anybody to pay the bills. They don't have anybody to do their laundry. They don't have anybody to go grocery shopping, cook the meals. They're very short on funds. So Joan runs this project that helps these lone soldiers. Every single Chag, every single holiday, she has a get-together for them. She gives them something that's pertinent for the holiday, and she gives them Supersol coupons, which are like food coupons. Supersol is the grocery store that's there. And they have money to buy basic necessities, food that they need. I have been with Joan on many occasions, been to some of these gatherings. I've also found more lone soldiers for her to take care of. We have a saying, you go into the grocery store and you can tell a lone soldier by what's not in their basket, because they don't have very much money, so they have hardly anything in the basket. but real basic necessities. So this is an incredible project. I know that I believe that there is some.
Our Josh Leon, who came with us last year, will be becoming a lone soldier. He's making Aliyah at the end of this month, and he's already involved in the lone soldier program.
Right. So hopefully, we may get to see Josh. But I don't know if anybody else knows people whose kids have made Aliyah and gone into the Army. I know quite a few people. As a matter of fact, Rabbi Wise, who is the rabbi at Hollis Hills Jewish Center, where I live, his daughter is a lone soldier at the moment. And his son is now going on his gap year, and then he's probably also going to make Aliyah and join the Army. It's really an important project, and we need to help these kids who are so dedicated, who make Aliyah and then go into the Army. Okay, then we have in the late afternoon, for those who have the energy, we're going to do a nature hike. And then the evening will be at leisure. The next day, which will be the last full day, we're going to go to the Sataf Springs, which is the site of an ancient farm. We're going to go to the Martyrs Forest and see the Scrolls of Fire Monument. I don't know how many people have heard of this monument. It's really an amazing sculpture by Natan Rappaport. And then we're going to go to Machane Yehuda Market, which is this fabulous market. I know last time, I see Gail smiling, we did a food tour in the market. It was amazing. And we got to taste all these different types of food. This time we're going to do it a little bit differently. We're going to go to Machane Yehuda Market for a little tour, and then we're going to pick up supplies, and then we're going to go to a chef's studio, and we're going to have a cooking workshop, and we're going to make our own dinner, which is going to be a gourmet meal, I promise. With the help of the chef, and we're going to have our farewell dinner that we're all going to cook together. And that's the basics. That's the tour. Then the next morning, we'll leave for the airport bright and early. Unfortunately, unless El Al changes their flight schedule again, it's going to be bright and early. And that's about it. There will be time for shopping, I promise. If anyone who is with us has family or friends that they want to visit in Israel while they're in Israel, you can do it, on your free time. We can work out scheduling depending on where the people live. We actually had occasionally people join us for a day, because they're visiting, because they have family or a friend that wants to visit with them. And that's that basics. So the hotels that we're staying at are all deluxe hotels. We're staying again in Jerusalem at the David Citadel Hotel, which everybody loved, and the location is amazing. It's literally 1 block from the old city. And walking to just about everything. In Tel Aviv, we're going to be at the Renaissance, which is right on the boardwalk. So it's really in the center of things. We have a lot of things we can walk to there. And in Eilat, the Dan Hotel, which is the deluxe level of the Dan hotels. They have different levels. The Dans are the higher level. And it's right on the boardwalk in Eilat. So let me open up to questions.
I want to talk about the breakfast.
Questions.
You might want to talk about the breakfasts before you go to questions. And let us know what...
Breakfast? Oh my God, I live for the Israeli breakfast. Breakfast is included every day. The breakfasts in Israel are these incredible buffet breakfasts that have just about everything you could want. Plus, they make eggs to order and other hot dishes. It's just, you have to eat breakfast and then bring some baggies with you to take some snacks for the rest of the day. But take the snacks discreetly. Please don't take any plates or silverware. It's not really nice.
Anybody have any questions for Lisa at this point?
Is
If
this
you can-
itinerary the same as the one that was published before?
It's a little bit different. The rough draft is a little bit different. As I said, because of the flight schedule changes, we had to add an extra night of hotel in Jerusalem, and we added an extra day of touring. And there were some things that were changed around. Some things deleted, some things added. So it's not exactly the same. It's similar, but not the same.
Was there something on the other itinerary?
Yes, an ATV ride,
An ATV ride?
an optional,
Um,
like a Jeep.
Is that possible during the hike?
That might be possible. Yeah, when we have the hike, I have
It's
to
the same
ask.
place, isn't it? Is that the same place?
Just so you know that the ATV rides, you're driving it. It's not somebody else driving it.
Well, we can look
Alright,
at
we get
it,
that.
but if you.
Just to be clear,
Last time we had someone, if I can, last year we had someone, I'm not gonna say who really wanted to ride a camel. And so it wasn't on the itinerary, but we made it happen. I wonder who that was.
Right.
If somebody really wants to ride a camel, we'll make it happen. If somebody wants to do an ATV, I think it's at that same place. I think that's where they do them.
yeah, well, they do them in the Jerusalem Hills, so it is possible. Nothing.
I don't want to give up anything else.
Let me say something. That nothing in the itinerary is written in stone. I always tell people, when you want to know the final itinerary, ask me on the plane on the way home.
Changes.
Yeah. We never went rafting last year.
Well, that's because unfortunately.
Yeah, we had to go to the hospital, so that was kind of a problem.
By the way, the reason we didn't go to the IDF base and we didn't actually get on it, that was the day that they attempted to murder Bibi. They attempted a suicide. Now, those of us that were there had no clue.
Yeah.
But what was going on was that they locked down all of the bases and everything because that type of thing happened. When you're in Israel, when things happen, we have to make adjustments and change things. But
Yeah.
the thing is, the people that were there still had a chance to meet the IDF soldiers.
Oh, yeah.
We still had a chance to have them come on the bus with us and chat with us. They had lovely people. They were really wonderful.
Yeah.
So while we didn't actually get into the base, we still got to know the people a little bit. So things can happen. The itinerary is always adjusted and it will change. And listen, we're willing to listen. I mean, if you have something that you really want to do, tell Lisa. It's possible.
So Lisa, I just got through a theory schnitzel, and they have a schnitzel cafe. Is that near where we're gonna be?
I too have watched Dissel. I have to see, a lot of times restaurants in Israel open and close. But if there's one, if it's still open when we're there, we can certainly find out about going there. You have free time, you might be able to go on your own time. I don't know if it's more of kind of the name. But then again, if you're going into that neighborhood, you better be dressed very sneistic.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, no question over on the other side.
I just was gonna ask, there's no way to go to the Dead Sea.
There's no way to go to the Dead Sea. That was something we talked about. Not Lisa talked about.
The thing is that trying to include everything and trying to include the, going to a lot made it difficult to also include the Dead Sea. I don't know if it's possible. It would. There's really no time in the itinerary to do it.
Because of Eilat, because of the Eilat.
A lot is fine.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
Eilat changes, and you can see that there's a lot of different things on
It
this
changes a lot.
agenda that we had
Right.
before. When Lisa and I talked about this, we talked about the Dead Sea, and you can do one or the other. You can't do the north, and you can't do the south. You can do the south, and do the other things that we've included. The Dead Sea is really nice if you've never been. The Dead Sea is really nice, but if you want to go swimming in the ocean, you know, and really get out there and enjoy the ocean, then a lot is going to be neat. You're going to be able to swim with dolphins. The Dead Sea was fun unless you got salt in your eyes, which
Not mentioning it
And
yet.
some people did that.
I'll tell you what we can do. I will definitely take you to an Ahava place, and we can buy you the Dead Sea mud, and you can have some.
And that's without saying. We're going to get you the Dead Sea mud, and we'll get you the Dead Sea. You're going to buy the Ahava products to bring back with you.
Yeah.
But that was just a choice that we had to make, and it's, you know, we'd love to go, but I think Eilat is really something that I think
Yeah,
I'd really
I'd love
take. Mark,
What about Masada?
what about Masada?
That's in the same category. It's right. The Masada is right by the Dead Sea. That's where it's located. So we're not coming. It's also becomes an issue with how many hours there are in the day. And if we're going to Eilat and we're driving back on Friday, we have to get back to Jerusalem. You can't stop in every place. You won't get back.
You don't have to go another time.
So you're going to have to come with
You know,
us on
we
this
can't do
trip and the next trip.
we can't do it all in a 10. It's really a 10-day trip. You can't.
No.
And I say this, yeah, you're not going to see Masada. Yeah, you're not going to see the Dead Sea. But the things you're going to see are things that many of the regular trips don't go on because they're too far away. Or Petra is something that you're not going to care about missing Masada if you go to Petra. And I haven't been to Petra, but everybody that tells me about Petra, Alan, have you been to Petra?
I've been, and it's amazing. It really is. It's something you walk through this sick, through this like a sick is like a dry riverbed with walls on both sides, and you get to this opening, and it's like this oh wow moment. It's amazing. It's just.
Those are the trade-off. That's the trade-off. You get an oh wow moment at Masada, but you're going to get an oh wow moment at Petra. You're going to get water in Dead Sea, but it's dead. Or you're going to be able to go swimming in the other water and not worry about, you know, getting salt in your eye. And it's not
How much
salt.
is
It's everything else.
The issue also with the Dead Sea water is that anyone who has any open cuts or anything like that, you can't even go in because it burns like unbelievable.
Again, not to knock the Dead Sea, it's a great place to do. But we looked at this and it was throw it up in the air. Which is going to be better? And when we threw the Eilat, right? When we threw the Eilat option out here, it did a couple of things. One, it took away some of the things like that. It's costing more because of the Eilat trip. And we're upfront about that. You know, we can knock the Eilat trip out, but you're going to lose a lot, right? And there is a pun intended there, because it's not something that is regular and that we all do. So we talked about that when we were planning this trip.
If I go, it would be my fourth trip, and I've never been.
And you've never been to Eilat, right? And I've been many times, and I've never been to Eilat. So.
How much is Petra?
The
What
other
does Petra cost? What does Petra cost?
it's in there. 1 second, I have to look.
Why don't you explain what Petra is and how that happens?
Okay. The other thing that I was going to say about the people who wanted to go to the Dead Sea or whatever, there is always an option to extend your trip. We had several people last time who made the decision to stay longer in Israel than the group. And they did because they were visiting family or because they wanted to do other things. So that's always an option. If you want to extend, then that's very easy. then you can definitely do a Masada Dead Sea Day from Jerusalem. It's only about 45 minutes from Jerusalem to the Dead Sea. So that's easily done as a day trip. And if you want to extend, you're more than welcome to do that. And we can arrange for you to go there. As far as the Petra, Petra, as I said, is actually in Jordan. The border crossing from is basically in a lie. It's about a 10-minute drive from where the hotels are. You go to the border we take you by bus to the border crossing. At the border crossing, you have to go through passport control and all that. And you actually, there's a no man's land. You actually have to walk across the border. They don't allow the buses to go from one to the other, from Israel to Jordan. So you walk across the border. It's not very far. I mean, it's like across a field. And then when you get to the other side, they do passport control again there. And then you meet your the bus and your guide for Jordan.
Tell them to wait.
No, I just picked it up and hung up. It'll whatever. It's only I think it was my cousin. It's okay. I'll call her back.
You're busy.
I mean, I could have let it go to voicemail, but I didn't want to do that.
The thing with Jordan is you are going into an Arab country, you're going into another nation. The thing is, and this is the part to learn, is that Jordan is a really good friend of Israel. And one of the reasons they're really friendly with Israel is because Israel has taught them a lot. They've taught them a lot about water, how to bring in water. They've taught them how to grow trees and dates, right? Dates and the
yes.
trees. And so because of that, they've made peace with each other, and they have a wonderful relationship. So when you're going to Jordan, you're going to be just as safe as you are in Israel, right? Because they have to make it that way. It's in their best interest. It's in our best interest. And from what I've been told is that you will be treated like, we're the best friends. Thank you for coming, because it's good for them. The tourism.
Yes, it is. And as I said, I've been there. So when you get across the border, I just realized that I must have proofread this 16 times, and I realized that I did not put the costing for Jordan in the application or anywhere. I don't see that.
Oh, I thought I saw it. I'm sorry. I must have seen it.
Unless I put it in, hold on. No, it may be on the terms and conditions page. I'm just looking because.
I thought I saw it.
I thought I could have sworn I put it in.
The only thing that says Perpetua is like under tips to driver, guide, and restaurant staff. The last line says.
No, I put in the tips separate for Petra, but I don't. You know what? I somehow left it out. I apologize for that. I only proofread it about 16 times. Okay, let me find, I will have to find it, the pricing, 1 second. Oh, here it is, I have it here. It's $538 per person for the Petra. Now the reason that it's that much is because you have the bus and the guide for the day, the entrance fees to Petra, and the Jordanian taxes. There are border crossing fees that are usually added to it, but we've already included that. And when you go, because it's like Petra is like one of their national treasures, and they charge it's like $100 and something just for the entrance fee. So it becomes an expensive day trip, but it is what it is, and there's no way around it.
How much is the airfare, Lisa?
The airfare, I mean, I cannot tell you what it's going to be. I did check it because it will change. It's based on the availability. For the coach fare, for the dates, I looked at it the other day, and it was pricing at about $1,100 per person. I think basically the same as it was, similar to what it was last year.
Well, last year was included in the price.
Right.
This year
No, it wasn't. It was not. Last year, the air was done as a separate, totally separate entity. It was not, it was not included. I can't include the airfare in the price because it's subject to change in availability.
A lot makes the trip.
The trip that was less.
No. A lot brings the cost of the trip up. Plus, well, a couple of things. A lot brings the cost of the trip up. Plus, it's 2 years later. And what's the average up chart? What does it go up every year?
And every year we figure it's about 8 to 10% increases for inflation. And also we have an extra night of hotel. We have more nights of hotel than we had last time because of the as I explained about the LL schedule changes where they made it. And we have 2 extra days of touring as well.
So it is, I mean, it's comparable, but a lot brings the cost up.
Right.
So there's no question about that. And we talked about that when we scheduled this, and we said, look, we know this trip's going to be a little bit more money than it was last year, but it's a whole different experience.
Yep.
And this is not your typical, traditional type of trip. As you can see, this has different things to offer in it that most people haven't seen before.
Yeah. So the extra is a combination of factors. It's the lot, it's the extra days of touring, the extra night of hotel, plus inflation. That's why it's higher.
Now, if the group says to us, look, you know what, I want to go, but I don't want to go to a lot. I'd rather go to the Dead Sea. That will change the cost, but it'll also change the trip. And so, I mean, if enough of you say, we're not going to do this because we don't want to spend that kind of money, we can talk about that. I think, though, we've really got a good product here. And I think it's another $1,000, right? That's probably what, if you look at it, it's probably another $1,000. But that's because you've got the extra days and
Yes, you know, 1,000
per person. Yeah, it's $2,000, right? I'm talking per person.
It was about 49.
So that's 5,000. So, yeah. So
Also, I mean, I know I can always help. We need to keep this price. We need to have 20 people traveling.
I think we're close. If enough of you say yes.
If we get to 20, I think it's 24. Let me just double check my number. No, if we get to 25, if we get 25 to 29 people traveling, the price will come down.
You will save that. You will get a savings. So if you know people that might want to go.
Well, Gloria.
Gloria, I spoke. Yeah, I heard they might want to. Gloria might want to come again. So if you know people who are interested in coming, if we can get 25 or more, I don't want to go too much more than that because I like.
No, I know, but if we get 25, it's going to be significant savings.
That goes right in your pocket. So.
I mean, I have to put the pricing this way because I'm where the break point is 20 minimum. Any other questions?
Any other questions? Okay. So what I did was I passed around a sheet of paper. I have everybody's email.
Okay.
We'll send out an email to all of you. And if you are interested in coming, you can contact Lisa or me and let us know you're interested. If you have questions or something that comes up after tonight, or like I said earlier, you know what, if enough of you say, that's not something we want to do, we can talk. I think we have a little bit of time where we can make some adjustments, but not a lot of time, right?
Yeah. And the thing is also, if people are interested in going, in order to maintain the pricing, maintain the hotel rooms, because May, June is a very, very busy month in Israel. And they'll only hold the rooms for us till a certain point. I actually have to send them deposits to guarantee, that we're going to have the rooms. So I know last time we had a whole problem because they kept calling me and saying, look, we need rooms back. And I'm going, no, we have the people. Please don't give away my rooms, And, I had a whole big issue. So if you do want to come, you're planning to come, the sooner that you get the deposits in, the better off we are, because then I can, you know, have confidence that I can send in those deposits, because I have to do wire transfers to Israel to hold all of this.
And you also get a better price on your airfare.
Right, that's true.
If you buy your flight now, you'll get a better price later. By the way, also, one of the things Lisa may not have mentioned, then again, I might have not heard her, that some people like to use their points on their airfare. Lisa can work it out with you.
Yeah, I didn't mention that, but yes, if people have points, if you want to do your own air because you have points, there are lots of different types of points. I mean, I'm sure nobody has points on El Al, but you may have American Express points that transfer over to El Al. You may have points like the Chase Sapphire card, which you need to book through them to use your points. If you want to do your own air because you have points or because you have a deal with a card, please go right ahead. I will not be insulted. The only thing that I ask is that you send me your flight information. Hopefully it's on the same flights that the group is going on, but if you decide to extend or go early, I just need to know that.
So the other thing is too, again, whether you use points or not too, is there is optional upgrades. People can do business class. Lisa can handle that, or again, you can do that through your credit card or whatever through your points as well. I think that's pretty much it. I know there's other things we would go through if we put together this trip and whatever. We would meet again, and Lisa will be here in person, obviously, when we do that, because there will be other questions and other things that will come up with regard to how much money do you bring, what do you do, how do you pack.
Right. We did, as we did last time, we did well in advance, we did a pre-trip meeting for everyone who was coming. And I handed out packets and lots of information. And, you know, that's a very important part. The only thing that I know it's mentioned on the brochure, but I did not mention is travel insurance. Very, very important. Whether you purchase it through me or you have another means to purchase travel insurance, I absolutely insist that you have it for multiple reasons. Number one is trip cancellation. If God forbid you sign up for the trip, you've given money, it becomes non-refundable. If God forbid something happens and you can't travel because of an illness or a family member's illness or something, I don't want you to lose out. If you have insurance, you will get fully reimbursed. If, just like we had the experience last year with the person who broke her foot, she was reimbursed for all the medical expense. She was reimbursed for the portion of the trip that she missed because she could not, you know, get around. She was basically confined to a wheelchair to her room. She was also, because of the way that the foot was broken, it had to be stabilized and raised. We had to upgrade her going home to business class, which was a significant differential. She was reimbursed for all of that. So I cannot emphasize enough that travel insurance is just, it's a must. I say to people, take it so that you never have to use it. But God forbid you have to use it, you will be very happy that you took it.
Any final questions?
One more.
Yes.
Is the Renaissance Hotel a Marriott Renaissance or a different Renaissance?
You know, I'm not sure if it's a Marriott anymore. I'd have to check that. It possibly might be a Marriott Renaissance. I know it used to be, but I'm not sure anymore. I can check it.
You have points? You have points? She has points for the room. Would that would...
On the trip, we can't because it's group pricing.
Yeah.
But I can get
You can get credit.
Oh, yeah.
Get credit.
You can get credit. Yeah, you should be able to get credit. Yes.
I'm a Marriott guy too. Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Me too. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if that's the case, we all want our points.
I will find out if they give points on the group.
Well, tell them we're not coming unless they give us points. So any other questions? I don't want to keep you all here tonight, all night, but I think it's important for you to think this over, think it through. If you're interested in going, let us know, because there are other people that are not here tonight that want to go to this trip. So it's not like we don't have 20. I'm pretty close with that, I think. I do. How many? You have 3 people that want these? We actually have some people that have been writing to us from my brother Eli's congregation in New Jersey. And we've got some people in Washington, I think. In DC.
Yeah, we have somebody from Washington who's the brother of somebody else from your congregation who wants to go.
We have other people that have been writing to us from here too. So I think, the number she said was 20 minimum. I think as long as you're interested, I mean, if you're not, I'm going to cut this room in half. I think we're close, and I think we're okay. I don't want to run a trip that is going to be outrageously priced. And so if you don't have 20, it's going to be outrageously priced. I'd rather see 25 so we can cut some of this down. And I think we've made a right choice in going to Eilat. I really do, because it's a definitely different trip. And the question was asked, well, gee, if I've never been there before, am I missing out on anything? No, you're not. You're not missing out on it. You're seeing things that people that have been there for many times won't see.
I saw many things I had never seen.
On this, right?
Last year.
Last year too, right? And not only that, you get a chance to have a good time.
That's right.
And I'll take you to the Irish pub in Jerusalem, and I'll buy you all a drink. Lisa, any final questions? Lisa, thank you.
No, it's been really great Skyping or whatever this thing is that we're doing here, and meeting some new people and seeing some familiar faces. And just if you know other people who might be interested, just pass the word.
Pass the word. Pass these around. This is going to be on the web as well. You can pass it out. You can tell people to check it out.
And I'm just looking forward to seeing everyone.
One more comment.
Yeah.
You said you're from Hollis Hills?
Yeah,
You know the Rosemans?
of course I do. Steve and Rosalie? Yes, I do.
My son's in-laws.
I'm sorry? You cut out.
In-laws.
Is your
His son's in-law.
Your son's in-law? Your son is married to Lauren?
Yep.
Oh, I know Lauren too, so.
All right. Good night, Lisa.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, good night. Thank you. Good to see everybody. Looking forward to traveling with you.
Okay.
Good night. It was
Oh,
fun.
and you can ask Rosalie about me. I booked trips for them as well. She knows me well.
My wife is down there tonight.
I think you would like that.
She's supposed to be babysitting. This weekend, no, next weekend.
Okay.
All right. Good night. Take care.
All right, good night.
You want my email?
Take care.
The host has left the conference. The conference is about to end. Your call will be disconnected